We've just had a horrifying illustration of the dangers of centralized food. 200 Americans were seriously sick and 3 were killed by eating bagged spinach. First, that bug, E. coli 0157H7, is a mutation of industrial feedlot agriculture. Second, that bug was able to be spread far and wide because you're taking food, spinach, from many, many farms, and you're washing it literally in a single sink in San Juan Bautista, California, and then you're sending it all over the country. This is not to say you couldn't get sick from eating spinach at your farmer's market. But you know what? If you did, nobody would hear about it because it wouldn't be a national story. It would be contained, the food chain. You would know who was responsible. And that brings me to the public health justification for local food.
I think in a lot of ways, you know, we kind of just take things for granted when we go to the store. We just accept what's there. You know, we have become a society that doesn't ask enough questions about things that we need on a daily basis. At the co-op, we initially started out where you order online, the product got dropped off, and then we would kind of repackage it, and then the next day people would come in and pick it up. And while it was serving the need of making the connection, we weren't really truly connecting. You know, I knew all the farmers, and then I knew all the people picking up, but they didn't know each other. So probably about 2 years ago, we started a thing called Meet Your Maker.
Basically, the property that we have has been in my husband's family for about 100 years. So when we got this property, we didn't want to do conventional agriculture. We wanted to do something different. So we started with hydroponics about 5 years ago, and we've just been expanding that the last few years. We grow over 40 different kinds of lettuce, 2 different endives, and just a variety: romaine, leaf lettuce, Bibb lettuce, Batavia, oak leaf. Daily chores, basically picking lettuce, and then anything that we've picked, we've got to refill the bed. So that's what I was doing this morning, is filling some of these nursery sheets with little baby plants. These are a couple of weeks old. So that's one of the things that we do almost daily. We don't have everything automated in the greenhouse yet, so a lot of covering the lettuce at night, uncovering it in the morning this time of year, turning fans on and opening up the greenhouse and that kind of thing. I have to put out ladybugs about every week or 2 and just, you know, kind of make sure there's enough of them there to take care of the aphids. Anytime there's grasshoppers or aphids or anything in the lettuce, caterpillars, that causes a lot of damage. So commercial growers are spraying a lot of pesticides to keep all of that under control. What we are doing is not spraying any pesticides at all. No fungicides, no herbicides, nothing like that, which is why you'll see ladybugs here, because that's what we're using to control aphids. We never get rid of them completely. It's kind of a balancing act where we're trying to keep the population under control. And then when we harvest, we wash the lettuce, and that's how we get rid of them. I really like growing things, and it's really nice to be down in the greenhouse working with this stuff in the winter when it's snowy outside. That's one of my favorite things. And I enjoy making people happy, and a lot of people who get the lettuce are just thrilled with it. So that's a great thing, and part of what we're doing is trying to build relationships with our customers.
I just really wanted to run my own farm. A lot of the farmers I spoke to said just plan on not paying yourself for the first 3 years. So right now, the very first thing we plant in the spring are leeks and onions. So we have leeks and bulb onions and green onions planted right now. Parsley as well.
Didn't even notice. Okay, but not these, right? There's a farmer by the name of Elliot Coleman who's really sort of challenged people to think about farming 4 seasons a year instead of 2 or 3.
These yellow carrots are Jean de Daubes. It's a heirloom variety that we get from Fedco Seeds. There's other, we have bright red and even kind of a purplish carrot, typical orange. I was never a big fan of the white carrots, but they winter over fantastically and get very sweet over the winter. Community supported agriculture, or CSA, is a great way to get local produce as fresh as it can be. We go out in the morning and harvest for 60 families when we're going to Holland, or 60 when we're going to Grand Rapids, and then wash the produce. We're pretty much done with that process by about 2. We take a break, load up the truck, and people have food that was picked that morning.
A lot of the members really think of this as their farm, and that's kind of a neat thing. And they come out, give 3 hours of labor a year minimum, and some people are working share members and they'll come out 3 hours a week. And it's really neat for us to develop a relationship with them, and they really learn some skills and really add to the viability of the farm.
We joined the West Michigan Co-op at the very beginning when they were on Alger Street at the grocery store. And our business is a lamb farm. So we raise sheep, and then of course we have lambs every spring. We lamb out about 65 to 70 ewes every year, so we usually have about 150 lambs on the farm. And then we raise them up to about 130 pounds. That's butcher weight. And then we have them processed and bring it back to the co-op. So part of the process of farming is keeping accurate records and good records. So you can look back and go, okay, number 900 gave us twin lambs 3 years in a row. All those twins grew at a really good rate. We would keep some of her ewe lambs as replacements. We wouldn't just pick one and say, okay, let's just take anybody out of here. Anybody out of here right now we've deemed them not good to keep in our flock. They either didn't grow at a good rate, or their mom wasn't a good mom, or maybe they just don't have the body conformation that we're looking for as far as, meat. Sometimes lamb isn't widely accepted. Most people grow up eating beef or pork or chicken, and they have never tried lamb, so we try to encourage them with that and try to give them a good idea of how it tastes and ways to prepare it. We'll give out recipe cards like at the Fulton Street Farmers Market when we're there. And we also use all of the wool that we get off of our ewes and have that processed too.
Well, it's probably my current favorite. It changes, tastes come and go, but they have a nice fresh approach. They're into local Bistro Bella Vita, their sister restaurant. I know one of the managers there really well, so it's a kind of thing where you find a good chef and you find ones that are using local products, and that's where we tend to migrate.
What I like most purchasing about local farmers and dealing with local artisan food providers is creating the personal relationships, having the trust factor in who's providing you with that food and where it's coming from and what kind of time, energy, and effort's going into that food, and being able to put the freshest possible ingredients on a plate to our guests and offer them at a great value. In the long term, does it end up probably being a savings? Maybe. In the short term, not necessarily, and some things don't pan out. For example, last year we almost lost our entire tomato crop. We had local heirloom tomatoes, which are a thing that we go through 70 to 80 pounds a week of at each of our restaurants for 2 weeks as opposed to 10 weeks. So that's a big challenge, and with time, you never know when asparagus is going to come in the spring, or how long it's going to be available, or if morel mushrooms are ever going to dip below that $30 a pound range. Some people aren't willing to take those risks, but they have to be calculated risks.
The co-op's been kind of a nice viewfinder into the changes in that regard as well, the production end, to say, well, geez, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on and we can still get access to that year-round. And I think the co-op really facilitates that.
It's just less footprints for all your products, the less trucking, the less traveling of all the necessary ingredients to make your product.
I think it's exciting to get to know the people that are raising the food that you eat, and it tastes really good.
And that's the best thing about buying locally and buying sustainably. You know the source of your food, and you can either trust or not trust that source. And if you not trust, you don't buy. But if you source it from him and you trust him, you know he's going to be clean and efficient and treat the animals as good as he possibly can. And you know you're buying something that somebody else's love and time and effort's gone into.
The food that tends to be bought here is also going to be more rich in nutrients, and I guess it tastes better, and it's going to satisfy, you know, what you need in your body.
You know, I'd like to get into programs. I'd like to do other things. I'd like to get into the community and, you know, maybe adopt a school and, you know, take producers in there and grow food and do, you know, kind of programs like that as well. Use the co-op more as a vehicle to make change as opposed to just an online grocery store. So, but we'll see.
That's enough. That's enough. Now you go. Yeah.
You are BFFs now.
Best friends.
Okay, girls. She will not hurt you.
You're upside down.
No, we'll just show them up close and personal. You got out, didn't you? Hmm? What do you think?